Does your retirement plan answer the 7 most important questions about retirement? Or if you haven't created your retirement plan, do you know what the 7 most important questions are? If not, you're going to want to watch this video. And make sure you stay until the very end, where I'll give you a link to my free ebook, The 8-Step Retirement Roadmap. Hi, my name is JP Geisbauer, founder of Centerpoint Financial Management. I'm a certified financial planner professional, a certified public accountant, and this channel is dedicated to helping diligent savers maximize their lives and minimize taxes as they transition into retirement. So let's dive right into it. What are the 7 most important questions about retirement? Number 1, what are you going to do in retirement? I often see people define their retirement by the absence of work. It's as if they're running from something as opposed to planning their perfect retirement and running towards it. Like anything in life, having goals and aspirations for your retirement is critical to its success. Envision what you want your retirement to look like. Are you going to volunteer to make an impact in your community? Do you have hobbies that will occupy most of your time? Are you thinking about working in a consulting role or part-time job? What does your average day in retirement look like? Do you plan on moving to a new location? Will you spend a lot of time traveling? Do you want to buy a boat, RV, or other fun toy? Are you going to golf or go to yoga every day? How much is what you're going to do going to cost you financially? Which leads us to number 2. What are you going to spend in retirement? Whether you call it a budget, a spending plan, or something else entirely, you need to get a handle on what your expenses are going to be. Start with the basic necessities: housing, food, healthcare, transportation. Once you have the basics covered, consider the fun stuff like the items we discussed in number 1 above: lifestyle, travel, philanthropy, self-care, gifting, hobbies. Invest the necessary time to get this right. Try to make it as comprehensive as possible. I realize that this isn't the sexy or fun part of financial planning, but it's critical to know what your expenses are going to be to ensure that you have sufficient assets and cash flow to cover them. Imagine if you planned on $5,000 a month, but your actual expenses were $7,000, $10,000, or even higher. Once you have your expenses calculated, it's also a prudent idea to stress test those. What happens if expenses are 10 or 20% more than anticipated? Will that torpedo your retirement? The better handle you have on your expenses, the more financially sound your plan will be. And this can work both ways. We discussed the risk of underestimating expenses, but maybe you aren't spending enough. And going through this process will give you the confidence that you can spend more, giving you the freedom to have the retirement of your dreams. But in order to know that, you need to put in the work. Make sure you have a projection of what your retirement expenses are going to be. Number 3, what are you going to earn? Once you get your arms around your projected expenses, you need to understand how you're going to cover those expenses. Start with the recurring or guaranteed sources of income. Things like your Social Security benefit and pension income, if you're one of the lucky few to have one of those. Then expand to other sources of income. Are you a business owner or in a partnership that throws off recurring income? Are you a real estate investor whose property or partnership interests generate positive cash flow? Are you going to be doing some consulting or part-time work during retirement? Is your retirement portfolio invested in dividend-paying stocks, interest-generating fixed income investments, or other investments that generate cash flow on a regular basis? Once you have completed this process, you should have an idea of whether you're going to be able to cover your expenses every month with your income. Number 4, when are you going to claim Social Security? Deciding when to claim Social Security is probably one of the most important decisions the majority of people make regarding their retirement. I've done several videos on this topic and will provide a link to that playlist in the description below. And if you want to be notified when any new Social Security videos are released, please hit like and subscribe. Long story short, there is a range of Social Security benefits that you can earn for the rest of your life. If you claim as early as possible, it's 70% of your primary insurance amount. If you wait as long as possible, it's 124%. So you'll need to factor this in as a component of what you're going to earn in retirement. 70% to 124% is a huge range. Make sure you choose the percentage that is right for you given your expenses and recurring income. Number 5, how do I pull money out of my accounts in a tax-efficient manner? Answering questions 2 through 4 should put us in a position where we know what our retirement cash flow will be. If you need to make up any shortfall, then you will need to have a strategy to pull money out of your accounts in a tax-efficient manner. If you are like most diligent savers, chances are your savings are in the big 3 type of investment accounts: taxable, like your brokerage accounts, tax deferred, like your pre-tax retirement accounts, and tax-free, like your Roth accounts or HSA accounts. Deciding how and when to take money from your accounts or strategically implement Roth conversions can have a dramatic impact upon your retirement. Don't rely upon some old and tired methodology like the 4% rule. General rules of thumb ignore way too many variables to be effective for people with significant retirement assets. Understand what additional amounts you'll need to make the ends meet and how the account from which you pull those assets will affect your taxable income over your retirement. And don't forget to plan for required minimum distributions, or RMDs. If you have pre-tax money in your 401k, IRA, or other retirement account, you're going to be forced to take money out of those accounts at some point in time. Be proactive. Look at your tax liability over your entire lifetime and not just year by year. The more you save in taxes, the more you'll have to enjoy your retirement. Number 6, how are you going to invest your assets? There are many different layers to a retirement investment strategy, but let's focus on the big 3: risk, asset allocation, and asset location. Risk in an investment portfolio consists of risk tolerance and risk capacity. Risk tolerance is how much risk you are willing to take. Risk capacity defines how much risk you are able to take. It's important to align these two types of risks when crafting your asset allocation. Asset allocation defines how your assets will be invested in the various asset classes like equities, fixed income, alternatives, real estate, and cash. Your asset allocation will be influenced by your recurring cash flow needs and your risk tolerance, among other things. Asset location describes where the various assets will be held. Perhaps it makes sense for high income producing assets to be in tax-free or tax-deferred accounts, or for high growth assets to be held in brokerage accounts, which will allow for the step up in basis. When crafting your investment portfolio, make sure you understand how asset location can affect your global portfolio's after-tax performance. Number 7, how will I define my legacy? Make sure you have a plan for your assets when you pass. Also, make sure your loved ones know what you want to happen to you. If you haven't yet drafted your estate planning documents, do so. If you have drafted them, but you have not reviewed them in a while, make sure you revisit them periodically to ensure they're up to date and align with your current goals. These important documents should include your will, your living trust, durable power of attorney, and advanced healthcare directive. These documents will not only be the guidelines for how your assets are distributed upon your passing, but they will also offer direction to those who will look after you should you become ill or incapacitated. There is a tendency to play the cards close to the vest when it comes to personal finance, but being transparent can prevent a lot of unanswered questions and family conflicts after you pass. Also, consider drafting a letter of wishes if you want to communicate more than just the legal elements of your estate plan. So that's it. Those are the 7 questions. How does your plan measure up? Did it address all of these questions? If you don't have a plan, has this motivated you to start crafting one? I have a free ebook that describes retirement plans in more detail. You can get your copy at www.centerpointfm.com/roadmap. There's also a link in the description below. If all of this is a bit overwhelming and you're thinking about hiring help, I did another video on the 10 important questions you should ask a financial advisor. You can find a link to that video here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe, and you'll be notified when our weekly video is released. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.